A short story by Paul McCann, Foo the Dragon. Along the banks of the Yellow River there lived a storyteller by the name of Foo. Outside his front door he had cut through some of the land to make a small, narrow rivulet where a shallow stream passed into a lagoon. And around the lagoon he built an embankment with small white pebbles, and across the higher ridges of the bank he erected a hut made from bamboo. This was known as the storyteller's hut, where he entertained visitors to the lagoon with some of the stories that had been passed down to him from his ancestors. Many who had heard about Foo and his stories had travelled far and would sit for hours listening to the mystical tales of the East. The ancient stories had been orally translated through many generations, and Foo's tales had become quite famous. It was said that Foo had so many diverse and unexplained tales that their origins had come from the mouth of dragons themselves. Most people could relate well to the stories, and families were made welcome down by the storyteller's lagoon. Seated around the lagoon was a simple thing, and it was quiet. So quiet that everyone could hear Foo from where they sat. After each performance, Foo would ask for a small gift in return for the story told, and most people responded to that request. One morning, after the silver moon had disappeared behind the Yellow River, Foo discovered some fresh, strange-looking dung near the entrance to his house. He had remembered his father once told him it was a sign of good fortune for this to happen. So Foo waited for something else to happen. As the day went on, Foo heard this loud, continuous, groaning cry from the distant mist of Musa Mountain, as peaks of the mountain almost touched the sky. The afternoon came, the groaning was getting louder, and as the moon had not yet risen, Foo knew it would continue through the night, so he decided to go and investigate what was going on high above. He placed a few things for the journey in his bag, and he headed to the foot of the mountain. Here and there the dung lay thick and heavy on the ground. Foo hadn't travelled that far when he discovered his first footprint. Then more giant prints followed. They had 5 clawed toes, and Foo knew that they were the marks of an eastern dragon that not many people had ever seen. Foo had no fear of dragons. This was because his ancestors had spoken of their gentle nature, and it was said that they would not harm anyone who had no evil intention in their heart. Foo continued his journey, and the noise got louder and more intense. It was twilight as Foo climbed up the mountain, and he found shelter in a small cave. Inside the cave he rested until the first rays of the morning sun shone through the mouth of the cave. It was only then Foo could see the scattered bones, yeti and skulls of yaks on the floor of the cave. As he opened his bag, Foo began to eat some of the herbs and bread that he had taken with him. Suddenly, out of nowhere, an old man with a long white beard appeared before him.
"Hello, Foo. I am Hugh, dweller of the first cave. What do you ask of me?"
Foo was shocked, but responded,
Great wise one, I seek the reason behind the loud groaning sounds." "That's what you hear. It's the dragon, Ling, who is suffering from a toothache." "Is there anything I could do to help Ling?" Foo asked. "One question only is permissible. But higher up the mountain are 2 more caves where my brothers dwell. If you find them, enter and eat there, and my brothers will make themselves known to you. Ask of them one question, and you will find one answer. They are the keepers of the secrets from distant time. Oh, go, Fu. Be safe on your journey.
She who disappeared like mist into the rays of the morning sun. In the second cave, Fu sat down and began to eat some of the bread and the herbs, and an old man with an even longer white beard appeared, and he said,
Greetings, Lu. My name is Haisha, dweller of this cave. What is it that you need to ask me, storyteller? Tell me which tooth hurts the dragon, wise one,
Fu asked.
Gentle one, tooth that needs to come out is last one in bottom back wall or left side. Go now, speedy as you go. The pain in dragon's mouth grows more severe.
Fu climbed higher up the mountain and found another cave, and he went inside and he sat down to eat. Another old man with an even longer white beard appeared, and he said,
My name is Hailing, and you may only ask one question of me.
Fu answered,
Can I remove the dragon's tooth?
First you must give the dragon a drink of the silver moon juice. Put him to sleep. Silver moon juice.
Silver moon juice?
Said in wonder. Hai Ling placed a bottle in Fu's hand and continued,
But a pulley harness to extract tooth from dragon's mouth on the roof of the cave are pictures that show how to build this tool to remove dragon tooth. Once the tooth is removed, you got to mix some mud from the floor of a dragon cave with the yellow herb on the petals of the purple flower you'll find growing outside the dragon's cave. Then, with this paste, you'll smear the solution over the hole where the tooth had come from. This will help heal and restore the health in the dragon's mouth. Go! Now, soon, the tooth is ready to come out of the dragon's mouth.
Fu looked at the drawings on the roof, and he memorized them before climbing higher up the mountain to the direction of the dragon's moaning cries. Eventually he found the cave where the dragon was, and Fu started to pick some of the purple flowers and the yellow herbs, and he ground them on a flat rock, mixing some of the mud inside the cave with the water from his bottle, and then he added some more water from the internal spring so that the paste was not too thick and not too runny. And then he placed inside more herbs, some bamboo, and everything else he found in the cave, bits and pieces of heavy weights, goat skin, wheels and ropes. By the look of it, there had been a few times that people have extracted the tooth from the dragon's mouth. It was easy enough to put all of these things together. Everything fitted into place, as directed by the plan on the roof of Miling's cave. Outside, and over a fire. The entire potion was now boiling, and as Fu went up to tea and check out the dragon, a voice rumbling through every wall of the corner of the cave.
Oh, please hurry up. I've put up with this pain long enough.
Fu called out,
Okay, I'm coming. Can't you make your way to front of cave? Ling.
The dragon slowly dragged its huge body from deep within the cave. Every foot stomp made upon the ground crumbled rocks that fell from the inner chambers. Then he appeared, scaly blue, with tattered hair round its head and neck. Now and then fire shot out from its mouth, followed by wafts of smoke.
I knew your father well. He used to pull my teeth before you came. Did he tell you all the stories that I told him, Fu?
Fu was very surprised as the dragon lay down and held his mouth wide open.
Oh, sorry, but I'm going to ask you to drink this.
Fu took the bottle of the potion that had been given to him by the old man, and as soon as the dragon swallowed the potion, he fell into a deep sleep. Fu prized a few lengths of bamboo between the dragon's jaws, just in case his mouth closed. Then carefully he carried the pulley inside the dragon's mouth, where he anchored it between the upper and lower front teeth sections. Then he placed the harness behind the loose tooth that rocked back and forth. Each time he put the heavy rope around it with the wheels in place and the ropes hooked up. Fu tied the heavy iron plate around the end of the drop rope, and that was thrown from the dragon's mouth into an empty cavern that dropped far down into the cave below. Once the pulley was in motion, everything began like clockwork. Wheels spun and ropes pulled until, aching almost like a catapult, the loose tooth shot out of the dragon's mouth and fell down into the cavern below. Immediately Fu applied the substance around the gums and into the gap where the tooth had once sat. Finally he removed the lengths of bamboo and the dragon's mouth slammed shut. Fu was really exhausted after all that and fell fast asleep on the ground beside the dragon. Unsure of how long he was asleep, Fu woke and found himself lying on a soft blanket of white fur, soft yeti fur. It was there he saw food laid out for him in a bowl, and the dragon softly spoke.
Thank you, Fu, my good friend. You have the same touch as your father.
How long have you been living up here, Ling?
Fu asked, and the dragon replied,
My time is not the same as yours, but I suppose it could be 1,000 years or more. Tell me, do they like my stories down there?
Fu replied,
So it's true. The stories originally came from you. Why, yes, of course. They were my gift for all those who have come to visit me and helped me over the centuries. Can you give me a story to bring back down the mountain?
Fu asked.
For you, Fu, my gift is much better than that. I am going to give you the gift of writing.
Fu looked intrigued and asked,
Writing? What is that, Ling?
The dragon replied,
Fu, now you will be able to write the words that make sentences, that make a entire picture for all the stories that have been passed on to you. From this day on, all the world shall have writing because of you. I don't understand, Ling,
Fu said. Suddenly the dragon reached up its front foot and opened a secret panel in the wall of the cave. From this hidden compartment came a bolt of lightning that struck Fu directly on his temple, right on the middle of his head. And images and thoughts soon flooded through Fu's imagination. The dragon soon placed a quill and goat skin before him. Fu picked up the quill and instantly began to write down words. He had been found, and he had been able to discover a gift never before known. Knowledge poured through his mind, and he plucked through as if from the sky words and wrote them, and after a long period Fu returned down from the mountain. As he descended back down, the three wise old men outside their caves met him along the way. They told Fu that they were the keepers of the wisdom and the spiritual guides of the chosen ones. They congratulated him for the great job he had done on the dragon's tooth, and remained with him until he was back inside his house. Not far from the lagoon, near the Yellow River, he began to write down every story that he had ever been told. And that's the end of the story.